The right kind of wrong, well, it starts off as the wrong kind of right when my character, Leo Palomino, marries a woman, and in the midst of their relationship, she starts a blog that's called Why You Suck. Needless to say, the relationship isn't going too well. They divorce, and Julie goes on to become a sort of raging success.
Why You Suck has become the template for people asking themselves, is their partner wrong for them? Tell me about the moment you realized that your husband was that for you.
It's sort of hard for him to see his ex-wife starting this blog and then this book, seeing her career go when he feels like he was the writer all along.
What does Leo think of all of this?
Oh, he still never read it.
Do you really believe that?
Believe it.
Yes. He has this amazing ability to just ignore criticism, which, I admired at first. And then I came to see it as his worst trait.
And so as her star is rising, Leo just sinks further and further into depression until on a very fateful day, he meets this woman, Colette, who he decides right then and there is the love of his life.
He falls in love with my character, Colette, on her wedding day.
You want to get a coffee sometime? Or a drink? Dance? Charcuterie plate? Everyone's big into those these days.
This is my wedding.
And he sets out to win her away from her nice new husband. And I, as the mother of the bride, help him out.
Lovely, isn't she?
What makes you think that this, like this, isn't what she really wants?
The roses. She hates roses. Hates flowers, period. Except sunflowers. If I'd seen sunflowers when I came here, maybe I'd believe this.
He is wholeheartedly convinced that this is the woman, and he hopes to become the right kind of wrong.
The Right Kind of Wrong. It began life as a novel called Sex and Sunsets, which I read a long time ago, and the central characters of Leo Palomino and Colette were quirky, out of the norm, eccentric, charming, and edgy at the same time, and really appealed to me. The big challenge was to make sure that in that process of this relentless chase of his, we root for him, and that we care for him, that we want him to actually succeed.
Wasn't your wife the real estate chick who wrote the blog?
X.
Didn't you get a book deal, too? Bro, that's gotta hurt.
So we find two characters, one who has suspended her dreams to run to a safe place with a wonderful man, Danny, who finds herself discovered by an honest, fearless artist. And so begins their journey together of reconciling where each of their identities are.
Beautiful things that seem impossible happen every day.
It's up.
Leo is bold, he's brash, brazen, brilliant, and he's utterly convinced that if he stays true to his convictions, he will succeed.
With Ryan, I was looking for an openness and an honesty and a sense of nuance. This isn't a broad comedy, and yet it's extremely funny. It's funny in its originality of tone. And Ryan brings to it a very specific, fresh, and very intense energy.
And this guy, he doesn't just want a hot wife. He wants a hot, interesting wife. So this is what he does. He ditches his Hummer to impress you.
And I think She appreciates the anti-establishment kind of things that Leo gets himself into and his opinions. And I think they connect on that level.
It's about things being realized, and Ryan McPartlin's character, Danny, is usually in most films, that's the bad guy that she married and shouldn't have. But it's not written like that. Everyone's equally flawed in a way that makes them equally human.
He's a failed writer. He rents a house from a company I do legal for. To retaliate would be like punching a puppy.
You, Danny Hart, have a good one. You know that?
That's one of the biggest things I loved, that it was not a generically written character by any means. It's going to be a tough choice for Colette by the end of the film. Does she follow her heart with Leo, or does she stay with Danny? And I think that's what made it the most interesting story to follow.
This isn't gonna end how you want it to.
He's not the obvious wrong guy, and I think that's what gives this script a lot of integrity. I think that's a really lovely piece of the story, that she thinks he really is her knight in shining armor, and he's going to change so much of her life that she wasn't comfortable with growing up.
As Colette's mother, I think she's on the wrong path. And here's a guy that's more like the guy she should be with. And I see him as a kindred spirit, not just to her, but to me.
And you're really giving up on my daughter just because she read a bestseller your ex wrote?
You would understand if someone wrote one about everything wrong with you.
You just want to root for him so hard because it's an extreme version of the everyman. Everyone's had a bad breakup, and Leo definitely is that guy, but he's very much himself. He doesn't want to be anybody else.
Is there anywhere you won't make a scene?
If it's important, who cares what a bunch of strangers think? Leo's been sort of beaten at, poked, prodded, punched. And, hopefully he should garner at least a little bit of sympathy. There's a method to his madness, and there's a reason why he does it. So he deserves a lot of his scarring, but I think in the end, it all works out all right. Writing and the pursuit of a woman, like any impossible dream, are not about immediate results. They're about telling the truth. No matter how absurd or embarrassing or what injuries you sustained. And hoping like hell she'll hear you.
It's a romantic comedy, so romantic comedies have a way of delivering at the end. There's no way around that. That's what our story ultimately is about. But it's how you get there. And this particular voyage is a tremendous amount of fun.